Oh, okay. So just what a way to defeat yourself before you even start. Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast. All right. Welcome, everybody. Once again, we're back at full strength, but, well, one of us is an idiot, and we'll get to that in a second. Welcome, Justin.
I think more than just one of us.
Well, for this particular episode, at least one of us is an idiot.
Uh,
And then also welcome, Jeremy.
Hello.
Okay, so
nice seeing you, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'd like to show up every once in a while.
I had an episode planned. We were going to do a bracket, but apparently I forgot to save it last night, and when I went to print it out, it's gone. So I got to redo a lot of stuff.
So it's okay. It's your first day here.
Apparently. So, but next week we're going to have a bracket, and it'll be a fun one because it's one I think we've been aiming to do for a while. So, but Justin, you went on a trip to Gatlinburg. How about you regale us with some tales of Tennessee?
Sure. Well, we went down to visit my sister. So on the way down, we stopped in Gatlinburg, spent a night in the Smoky Mountains, which, first time we've gone there, it's done anything in the mountains. And I didn't realize how much Gatlinburg is like the Dells until I was there. I think you've been there, Nicholas.
Well, as somebody who grew up in Memphis, I've been to Gatlinburg a number of times. Plus, like, it's not that far away from Atlanta. So the 20 years that I lived in Memphis and Atlanta, Gatlinburg happened a lot. So when I went to Dells for the first time, my first thought was, wow, the Dells are really like Gatlinburg.
Yeah. Mine was the opposite. We so some of the places around there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've been there, but I bet most of it's probably pretty similar.
Because the one thing we did there is we went to the Anarchista.
Yeah, see, now that's new. You had emailed me or messaged me.
Emailed.
Yeah, so okay, you had messaged me a link or whatever to it, and I looked it up, and it looks like it was pretty cool. So why don't you explain what that is?
It's a little theme park on top of a mountain.
Hmm.
So you've got to take a ski lift, like those bucket chairs, up the mountain. So they don't recommend doing it if there's bad weather coming because they shut those down and you can't get down. Then you're stuck up there.
And then what happens?
You have to wait for the weather to pass, and then you can come down.
Do they have like a hotel up there in case you get like stuck for a long period of time, or?
No, it's got like the big suspended bridges across the trees, so you can walk through the woods. And they have their Alpine roller coasters, I think is what they're called. So it's like a single cart that has a brake and a throttle almost where you push forward to go faster, pull back to slow down, that you're going around the mountains.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
so it's not one of like it's not like pulled on a chain and using gravity to like go in loop de loops. It's more like a
Yeah, it's they push you down while you're sitting in the cart, and either have the throttle in front of you or on the side is a handbrake. So as you're going down, you could slow yourself down, and you got to like slow down as you're whipping around corners
Mm.
through the
I saw
through the woods.
that must have been really cool to see that.
It was. There's the one I did, the first one, it's two rails, so you kind of feel like you're on a roller coaster.
Hmm.
And the other one's a single rail, so it's right in the middle of your cart, so you're like seems like you're balancing, which that one was a little more terrifying. But they had that stuff. Then they had the big observatory. So it's like I think it's 60 feet, and you can get a full 360 view. But because you're up so high with the wind coming, you can kind of feel the tower bow a little bit.
Ooh.
So, I mean, so as someone who doesn't really mind heights, I was fine with it.
Okay.
Well, what you're saying is if you're afraid of heights, this is not the theme park for you.
Probably wouldn't recommend.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then they just had like a taste of America while we were there. So they had different food trucks from different states, like Maine, Texas,
Was Wisconsin there?
Washington. No, Wisconsin wasn't, but Illinois was.
Oh,
Well, what does Illinois have? Illinois doesn't have it. Well, I guess
Chi-
they've got pizza.
and Chicago
mm,
hot dogs and
loaded
stuff,
up. Yeah, hot dogs.
Okay, all right. I
which had
as
go
much as
ahead,
we shit on Illinois, they do have a pretty decent food scene in Chicago.
which had us thinking, what would you? This is kind of a good one for both of you here. You have a Wisconsin themed food truck in a different state to sample the great taste of Wisconsin. What are you selling?
Cheese curds.
I mean,
100%.
that's there were the only other thing I was going to say is I'd have two items on the list, maybe three, but I would definitely have cheese curds, different flavors of cheese curds, different
Hmm.
fried as well as non. But I would also have brats.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe cheese curds on the brats, cheese curds in the brats.
That I said a curd burger
Yeah, okay.
with a side of cheese curds and a spotted cow.
Spotted cow.
I
Hell
say
yeah.
I might throw like a custard a custard machine on the truck as well. But
All right.
custard isn't necessarily like not that brats are exclusively Wisconsin, but when I think Wisconsin, cheese curds and brats.
Hmm.
That's fair. We stopped at one, and I think it was Washington, and they had apple fritters, which I kind of thought apple fritters was an every place thing, not just the Washington thing. Granted, that is a lot of apples.
Yeah, I mean Wisconsin has a fair amount of apples. I mean,
Right. That's why I
yeah,
thought fritters were just a known pastry.
well, it's not like Wisconsin has a monopoly on cheese curds. Like there are cheese curds in other states. It's just we
We
happen.
just let other states license them out.
I mean, it's not that, but it's just we're better at them than other states.
Than everybody. So that was the
The
first.
world.
Yeah, that was the first day down there. We stayed, and then we camped at a little place like inside the Smokies. Uh,
One of the places I loved camping when I would go to the Smokies in the Gatlinburg area was a place called Cades Cove. It's down the road from Gatlinburg. It's almost I think it's closer to the Georgia side of Tennessee, but like it's like a little historic like 10-11 mile loop.
hmm.
But it was one of my favorite places to go camping.
The place we camped was right on, I think it's Little Pigeon Forge River.
Okay.
So it was down, I don't know which direction it was from there, but it was just outside of like 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes outside of Gatlinburg. So that was the first day, and then we went by my sister in Nashville, and the whole purpose, besides vacation, was to go down to East Nashville every year, puts on a tomato fest. So that was why we were like, you know what? Let's do it.
I didn't realize you were a fan of tomatoes.
I have a garden full of tomatoes.
Okay.
I eat just cherry tomatoes, just pop them in like candy.
Gross, but okay.
You don't like tomatoes?
Like I'm not against tomatoes. Like if like they are on the hamburger, I won't necessarily take it off. But like if I have the option to not put it on there, nah. Like
Which is
I'm not anti tomato sauce.
where I'm more anti-tomato sauce. I don't really
Hmm.
like ketchup.
No, I don't like ketchup.
I'm not a fan of
Whoa.
spaghetti sauce that much.
What a weirdo.
I don't like most marinaras. And if I get pizza, I usually go with the garlic or light sauce because I don't know.
Hmm.
I do
I
like
would say
I do
I
like a saucy pizza.
hmm, yeah. I like tomato sauce and ketchup, but like tomatoes on burgers I cannot stand. I have to take them off every time. And just tomatoes in general, I think are okay, but like ever since, reading a lot about TB12 and learning about nightshades, I can't really be putting all that shit in my body.
So
Um,
what do you think of like cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes?
I don't like them.
I like a cherry tomato and like a salad.
All right.
Or I would like as a kid, I ate a lot of little cherry tomatoes. I would pop them in like you would like candy like that. But
For me, it's a texture thing. It's not really a taste thing. Because like I said, like I don't mind tomato sauce or like having like a spaghetti and marinara sauce or a nice deep dish pizza.
Cheesy lasagna.
cheesy lasagna. And like it's not like I'm anti ketchup. I'm not one of those freaks. It's like you can't put ketchup on hot dogs. Fucking put ketchup on hot dogs. That's what hot dogs are for. Ketchup,
No, it's ketchup doesn't go on brats, not hot dogs.
No, I will agree with you that ketchup doesn't go on brats. That's mustard.
And relish.
And maybe sauerkraut, depending on what kind of brat it is. But if I'm at a party and I see somebody putting on ketchup on a brat, it's not like I'm going to walk over and smack it out of their hand and be like, "You can't have this brat."
That'd be amazing.
That would.
All right. Maybe I will do that next time just to prove a point. But I mean, if you want to ruin your brat by putting ketchup on it, far be it from me to stop you. Like that's
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your brat.
Ruin it how you want.
when
Uh,
I when I was in college, I did an internship at a church in Virginia, and it was in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. And so like they put me up in two people's houses. Like I was there for 2 months. 1 month I was in one person's house, another month I was at another person. But they decided they didn't want to
keep you
burden.
anymore?
Well, there was
What?
that too, but they
That's
didn't
why you had
want
to go from house to house.
they didn't want to burden that family with making them feed me every night. So they put a schedule out in the church. So like almost every night for 2 months, I went out to eat at somebody's house, like a different person's house. Sometimes they would take me out to eat. Other times a lot of times they would cook. And a lot of the old people at the church signed up. And this was the problem, is that I was raised where if the food is put in front of you, you have to eat it,
You eat it or yeah.
and you don't complain.
Hmm.
Like even if you don't like it, like that's like you at least have to try it or pretend to. So one of the first meals they I went to, they just had slices of like that beefsteak tomato, like that, like because it's kind of a southern thing. Like they just had slices, and so they served it to me. And you slice it with a fork and knife, and then you eat it. And I was like, okay, that's how I was raised. I'm not going to be rude. I'm at somebody's house. I'm going to eat the food that is presented. Unless, of course, it's like an allergy thing, like this will kill me if I eat it, then I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Here's a banana pudding. Good luck.
Yeah, something like that. But unfortunately, because that's how I was raised, that then became the meal that all old people served me for a couple months because they were like, "Oh, he likes it."
Oh,
And then
this guy likes tomatoes.
so for 2 months, like every time I went over to an old person's house, like I had like basically the same meal because that was what they're like. Oh well, he ate it. He ate it, and it was good. Yeah. So I was like,
Oh, geez.
oh, but I don't like tomato. But I didn't want to be rude. I mean, these people were nice enough to put me up and feed
Yeah.
me and be super kind to me. So yeah, that was. So
Oh, man.
I guess maybe there is something to be said for maybe at some point going, I don't really like tomato, or
Yeah.
I don't particularly care for that. Can we maybe not serve? Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's funny.
that's great. That's kind of interesting that you had a schedule for different houses where
Yeah,
you would go eat.
it was super weird. It was not a great invite. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another day about how that, and well, since I'm not a youth minister, and I don't live in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, you can tell how well that internship went.
Mhm.
That's fair.
So what did the Tomato Fest consist of? What kind of
It
activities were there?
it was 2 days, and I'm just going to combine the 2 days into one story because I don't remember exactly what happened on day one and day two. There's a tomato parade, so anyone can enter. Like you just have to submit a form. So there's like two different marching bands from the local schools in it. Jeremy, what?
Anyone can enter?
Yes. There's just
Nice.
there's just random families wearing like tomato themed, I'll just say themed costumes. So like even somebody was like a pizza. They were wearing a pizza costume, walking with the family, throwing out candy. And it was a sizable parade. Like it wasn't like ours, but it was probably a good 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
How far a drive is Nashville from here?
8.5, 9 hours,
Hmm.
avoiding tolls.
Looks like we're gonna be in the tomato parade next year.
So yeah, like they just close off couple streets. It's all in East. It's in East Nashville does it because it's a way to just bring the community together. So they have people, like I said, dressed as someone was dressed as like a tomato princess, which kind of reminded me of the Queen from Candyland, but if it was a tomato theme,
I was going to ask you if there was like a Queen of the Tomato Parade, like
there
a.
there was someone dressed like that. Yep.
Please tell
And
me there were some references to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I saw one.
Oh, cool. All right. At
Okay, at
least there was
least there was
one.
one. Yeah.
Um, a lot of the houses get decorated with tomato decorations. So there's like tomatoes hanging from trees,
Cool.
uh, tomato flags, which someone had a Attack of the Killer Tomato flag hanging up on their house. People like those domes, those metal like domes little kids climb on, the
Mhm.
triangle little domey half
Yeah.
circles. People had those in their yard that was covered in like red fabric with a
Oh,
green top and like eyes.
that's clever.
So the Nicholas looks like he's like, what is wrong with these people?
Hey, you know what? I mean, it's a community surrounding themselves and enjoying themselves. So why not?
Yeah, it's a way to bring everybody together. There's so then you go downtown and they shut a couple roads down. So there's a couple blocks that are just shut down. So you can't drive there after a certain time. So the streets lined with like vendors, basically. They're all like local businesses. So they're selling their normal merchandise and then they also have their tomato themed special stuff. So people are selling like hats and shirts and yard signs, jewelry, stuff like that. That's all tomato themed. Other local, I don't even know if it's a local business, like Sweet Baby Ray's was there.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's a Tennessee thing, but they were there handing out free bottles of barbecue sauce,
Sweet Baby Ray's was just handing out free
free
barbecue sauce.
bottles, free bottles of sauce.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So like I got a no sugar added barbecue sauce,
Nice.
no sugar added honey mustard,
And Sweet
uh,
Baby Ray's is a good sauce.
barbecue
Hmm.
chipotle sauce, and a garlic parmesan sauce from Sweet Baby Ray's. Free bottles, full size bottles. You walk by,
I
have a
mean,
bottle. Take two, take three.
if
Cool.
if you're not going to use those no sugar added ones, I mean, I know a diabetic who would take them off your hands.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll use the chipotle one, but I know I'm going to use the other one.
I also
Uh,
know a diabetic who has a real taste for spicy that shouldn't eat sauces but does anyway.
so there's that. There's a tomato art show. So
I saw some of the photos of that. That was cool.
people make tomato themed art. So like one of them was a cicada with tomato eyes. Someone made like a Friday the 13th where they had a tomato wearing a hockey mask chasing another tomato.
It's cool.
That's amazing.
There's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes one there. So there's just a bunch of different art they do. And it goes in a big exhibit. And people can buy the art. There's like a certain price you put how much you want to sell your art for when you enter it into the exhibit. And half goes to you and the other half goes to the community.
Big tomato.
Yeah, goes to the big tomato.
And
So
did you purchase the Friday the 13th art?
I couldn't find a print. That was the
Ah,
one I was trying to find a print. Because they have because the event is Friday and Saturday. So Thursday they have a special art showing where you have to buy tickets for the art show. And those people are most of the ones who bought the art.
Oh,
So when you go in, most of the art's already sold, but they do have prints of the art. So we bought a little print of a thing of art that's in the kitchen, so I can't even grab. I can send you a picture. The other things I thought was really cool because you don't really see that with our festivals at the entrances. I think because there's four entrances, two of the entrances, one was giving out free bottled water,
all right.
and then they had another booth set up that had sunscreen, sunblock, all of that stuff. So you could just
wow.
go up and you could use the sunscreen, like if you forgot some or if you needed more, and it's just free. You could just go and they were just had it all lined up on the table.
You
Wow.
know, when I went to the Cubs game a couple weeks back, they had little stations around the stadium where, like, when you walk up and like you put your hand under and like hand sanitizer comes out.
Yeah.
They had a hand like attached to each other. One was sunscreen, one was hand sanitizer.
Oh, nice.
So you just walk up, hands, rub yourself down with some sunscreen, and then you get that sanitizer and get your hands clean.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
I I thought that was cool though.
yeah, screw the Cubs, but hey, smart, good on them for that.
Some of the other local stuff was there, like the Predators had a booth. So I got like a free magnet, a free keychain, free lanyard, and something else from them. The Titans had a thing. So I got a can koozie, keychain, and a magnet. That's Titan stuff.
Yeah.
Another company, I think it's called Drip Drop, which is one of those flavor packets like you add into your water. They had a whole station with just tons of free ones, so you could just take like free trial packs or individual ones.
As skeptical as I was about this Tomato Fest, it actually sounds like it was a lot of fun.
State Farm had a thing where you could get yourself as a bobblehead. So they have these generic figures. There's like an alien, a dog, a cat, firefighter, video, like a gamer in a chair, and they just take your picture and they cut your face out and slide it into the bobblehead. So I got a bobblehead done of myself there. I went into the hardware store from Ernest Scared Stupid
Awesome.
because that hardware store is located right in downtown Nashville.
That's
Like,
awesome.
remember he goes in the hardware store and then he starts running down the street?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been a long time since I've seen that movie, but
that hardware store's right there. Which it's a really cool little mom and pop style hardware store. So they have cats that are just in the store. So you'll go in there to buy stuff, and there might be like a cat sleeping on the shelf. And it's just the owner's cats.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Then
Have you ever been into Lost World?
No.
There's sometimes a store cat that hangs out in that store.
that that comic book store over on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in there a number of times. Yeah.
Sometimes there's a cat, not all the time.
Sometimes, not all the time. Although it's been a long time since I've been in there, so maybe there's a cat at all. But anyways,
And then
go on.
I ate some good food. Had some fried chicken. Too much fried food. Went to what is it? Hattie B's, which I guess is a pretty big Nashville chain down there for chicken.
What's it called?
Hattie B's.
Never heard of it.
Had their chicken. Got my donuts from Five Daughters Donuts.
Did you go to a Buc-ee's?
We went to a Buc-ee's on the way from Gatlinburg to Nashville.
Was that your first time?
First time.
What do you think of that?
It's crazy.
I've never been in one.
Nicholas?
I can't say I've ever been in one myself. I don't remember every gas station I've ever been in, but
You would remember.
This is a special gas
You would
station.
remember if you went into a Buc-ee's.
what is it in comparison to Quick Trip? Because I've heard of Buc-ee's. I've seen a lot
It's
of
like
stuff
the
about.
Walmart of gas stations, isn't it? Isn't it like
Yeah.
giant?
Yeah, like the one we went into, they had a truck in there that they used as a display to put like merchandise in. So like
like an F-350.
like an old time truck with the wooden bed,
Oh, okay.
and the one side's like a shop. So they've got like clothes and just like knickknacks and all that stuff. And most of it's got the Buc-ee's logo's face on it. So you can get like swimsuits, towels, shirts, hoodies, blankets, bathrobes. And then in the middle is a big, there was a hot food case where they were making like pulled pork and barbecue chicken. The back wall was its own deli where you could get sliced deli meats, fried foods. They had a wall that was just like sectioned off. So it was like a wall of like fruits, nuts, beef jerky, like an entire just wall of different flavored beef jerkies. Probably 25, 30 pumps for gas outside.
So what you're saying is, if it came into this state, it would give Quick Trip a real run for its money.
Probably. It gave Walmart a run for its money.
Jeez. Now, so like I understand like the idea of having like a truck stop gas station kind of thing with all of the food, kind of just a one-stop shop. But I don't understand like bathing suits. When I'm traveling, like, and I'm going to the gas station, I'm gonna get a tank of gas, a burger, and that swimsuit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were there and the mom walked into their kids. And they must have been from the area because the kid said something. The mom's like, "We're not here for toys." We're not here to look at the toys. We're here to get dinner or lunch, whatever time of the day. So that must be a regular thing for them to come into a Bucky's.
So it's
Like
kind of,
walking in smell like walking into LD's.
Hmm.
oh, okay. All right. We might have to look into going to a Bucky's one of these days.
I don't know where they all are. I know we've talked about going to that, what is it, the Hall of Heroes?
Yeah, that is true. We have talked about doing that.
It's about 3 hours. I don't know if there's a Bucky's. There's got to be one in Indiana somewhere.
I mean, it's not like Indiana has
Yeah.
a lot else going for it, so
The closest Bucky's, there's actually, oh, never mind. That's like a independent gas station called Bucky's. Uh,
Bucee. I don't think
they
there's.
keep pulling up like the wrong type in Google Maps. I don't know why. The nearest Bucky's looks like it is probably that one that you went to.
And I went to one that was in like Gatlinburg area, Tennessee, somewhere down in by Nashville.
It really doesn't look like there's a lot of these things around here at all.
All right, maybe it's just the South version of Quick Trip. But
There's
yeah,
a proposed location for one in Ohio, but that would be like the nearest one. And then like Smith's Grove, Kentucky is the next closest.
and Kentucky's what, 9 hours?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
So if you guys are ever down there, I'd definitely stop in just to see one,
it would be 7 hours and 19 minutes
to drive to
uh,
the with tolls.
to get to the Kentucky one. Yeah, or 7 hours and 40 minutes to if we avoided tolls.
I don't know if I'm committed to going to a gas station just to drive 8 hours. Let's go back to the Tomato Fest real fast though. Have you ever heard of? Let me pull it back up so I can say the word right because no, I went to La Tomatina in Spain, the big festival where they
Is
just
that where they're throwing the tomatoes
yeah
around?
where they throw all the tomatoes at each other.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Was there any sort of that activity going on at Tomato Fest in Nashville?
No,
Ah, all right.
there was contests for like ugliest tomato and stuff like that. But there was no actual throwing of tomatoes.
I don't know if I'm disappointed or I'm not surprised. I'm sure the lawyers got involved in that one, but
Yeah.
They should have had like a stage set up with a microphone and like a crate of tomatoes, and then like you could have someone just constantly up on stage and you could throw tomatoes at them if they're shitty.
They had a stage set up with a band playing. They had a lineup of like local bands too.
That's cool.
Yeah, then I went and we got, like I said, we had Hattie B's. I went to $5, which is a really good donut place out there. 5 Points, which is really good pizza. So I had a couple of the ones that when I go down there to visit her, I'm like, all right, one of these days we're getting donuts, and one day we're getting pizza. That's like on my always to do. I don't care what we do, but I'm eating donuts and I'm eating pizza. Well,
I mean, you could probably have donuts and pizza on the same day.
I have to do I do them separate because I bring donuts back for like my niece and my dad.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to get them. I get them the morning before I leave or the morning when I
Just should I say that line again? That you got some strong willpower.
to drive 9 hours and not eat them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I bet they were in the trunk, so
out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, so that's why I wasn't here last Sunday.
Jeremy, what have you been doing the last couple weeks?
oh man. Well, I went on like a bunch of day trips last one. I went to Woodstock where they filmed Ground
All
Like
right.
Woodstock, Illinois.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, they filmed most of it there, like a lot of like the stuff like outside and like that. And then they have like a mural set up where it's got Groundhog Day and then it's got like a bunch of other like notable things that have happened in Woodstock. So like H.G. Wells, there's an opera house where like a bunch of like, and then Dick Tracy birthed.
Oh,
It was pretty interesting. It was cool to look around. I mean, it's definitely like not worth going back, but it was cool to see for the day. But yeah, it had like some charm. It's just like small. And then what else? I went to Mount Horeb. Ever heard of that place?
I have heard of
Mm-hmm.
that.
We discussed it on an episode of PCR.
Oh, have we already? My memory is horrible.
It was one of the ones I did with like the cryptids in
Oh,
Wisconsin
yeah, that's
and stuff
right.
like that.
Yeah.
That's where I heard about it. That's right.
Yeah, it was fun. I took a lot of video and hopefully I'll make like a segment for Halloween. You get like I went to the visitor center and they have a pamphlet where you like mark off the trolls as you go. There's 36 of them. Forgive me if this was all covered and you go down what they call the troll way. Like each business kind of has like their own so it's a
Hmm.
really cool way, like a clever way of getting people to like explore the town, like go into see some really cool troll statues. Like they are really actually very impressive. Like there was one outside the dentist office. And it was like holding like a giant toothbrush. There's one like just like outside like some insurance office. It's like a bench, like a giant like wooden like covering, a giant troll head on the top of it. Yeah, it was really neat. I'm definitely glad I went to check it out.
How many
One
of
of the things, oh, go ahead.
how many of the 36 did you find?
I would say I probably got about 75%.
Okay.
Because there was some that were like in ridiculous spots, like the other side of town. Because basically they have like one area which is sort of like reminded me of like Lake Geneva, like a downtown walking around place. And then there was more of like business areas, like they had a grocery store, a Culver's, and there was like a lot of trolls like located in that area, and I didn't really feel like just driving around all those like individual trying to find those trolls, but the ones like in the Lake Geneva-ish area were like super easy, like convenient. Like they were all kind of like down like a trail. It was fun. I got most of it and I was happy with my
One of the things, since you said trolls, the last day we went to a botanical garden. I think it was in Franklin, just outside of Nashville. And apparently there's a pretty famous Dutch artist who makes troll statues out of like repurposed wood that are like 35 feet tall, which I put a bunch of pictures on like Snapchat and I didn't post too many, but we're getting one in the Wisconsin area next year. I think in Mayfair area.
I was gonna say
Sweet.
in Mount Horeb where all the trolls already are.
No, he makes them out of these, like the ones that were at this botanical garden are only there for 2 or 3 months. And then he comes in and then he disassembles them and then builds something new somewhere else.
Oh,
But he's built them like he's got ones in Europe, he's got some in like Australia that are just like permanent ones that are just like people go on these troll finding like hunts.
Cool. That's awesome.
So when you said trolls, I was like, oh yeah, we looked at these giant wooden troll structures.
when you were
That's
down in
awesome.
Gatlinburg, did you swing by Rock City?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. You would have remembered. It's about as tourist trap as you can get,
Oh,
but it's one of those places you have to go see at least once in your life. Kind of like Wall Drugs. When you're driving out to Mount Rushmore, you got to stop at Wall Drugs. Waste of time, but you got to do it at least once.
I'll remember that next time I go to Mount Rushmore, which I've been as far west as Iowa.
Well, one of these days, one of us is going to win the lottery, so we can start doing this professionally, and we'll just start taking road trips.
It'd be fun.
Far
There's
west,
a lot of
far,
places I'd like to see.
far west is Iowa.
I almost went to Iowa actually instead of all these day trips. I was gonna go to Clinton because I just wanted to go to like some random place, and it was like only 3 hours away. So I was like, who knew you could get to Iowa like that quickly? So
There's on right on the Mississippi in Dubuque. There's an aquarium, like it's an aquarium train museum, like his thing right on the Mississippi in Iowa that we took as a day trip. And they
cool.
do like Mississippi River tours, but we went in, it was too cold, so they weren't doing them. But yeah, that's how I found out. Like you can get to Iowa in like 2.5, 3 hours, even without freeways. You could it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I always thought it was much further, but Clinton apparently has the world's largest sawmill, or like, so that would have been entertaining.
I was going to say, what's in Clinton, Iowa that would be so entertaining? But I guess a large sawmill. Like,
Yes. And a casino. I was gonna go to the
ah,
casino. That was the biggest draw, if I'm being quite honest. But it didn't happen. I
I,
ended up just doing day. So it was
I was able to place some sports bets on DraftKings because I was in Tennessee and it's legal there, which is
do,
stupid. Like in Wisconsin, you can download the app, create a profile, deposit money, but you can't place a bet.
can you legally bet when you're in Illinois?
Yeah, if I went over like Dogs and Suds right on the Genoa city border, got a hot dog, I could play some bets because it just depends on your location.
So
And
if you win these bets, can you claim that here, or do you have to drive down to Illinois to claim it?
I think I can claim them here because I think they mail it to you.
Ah,
Or I'll just have them mail it to my sister's house and then she can just, I would say she could mail it to me, but she'd probably cash it. She'd be like, ooh, what's this check in the mail for?
this isn't my name. I'm gonna cash it anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
so
I didn't I didn't really do anything the last couple weeks. I did go see Collective Soul and Hootie and the Blowfish last
oh,
Saturday.
sweet.
Was that at the old Alpine?
Yeah, it was at Alpine. Collective Soul just killed it. I mean, they're one of my all-time favorites. They're probably in my top five. So I was a little disappointed that they were opening for Hootie, so they only got the hour instead of however long Hootie played. But I still got to see him live, and they were just really good. And Hootie puts on a solid show. Darius Rucker, just he's got a solid voice, and those guys know how to do it. I mean, both of them were Collective Soul was celebrating their 30th anniversary, and Hootie and the Blowfish was celebrating their 30th anniversary of Cracked Rearview Mirror, that their debut album.
Mm.
So they, as a band, they've been around a little bit longer, but it makes me feel really old because I distinctly remember buying Hints, Allegations, and Things Left Unsaid, the first Collective Soul album, which means I've had that album for 30 years.
Nice.
Um, but also, I'm going to see Live and Stone Temple Pilots in a couple weeks.
Cool.
And I looked that tour up, and they're like celebrating 30th anniversary of Purple and Throwing Copper. And I'm like, oh, so apparently I'm just old. I'm going to 30th anniversary concerts just all year because
Why not?
Well, could be worse.
Jeremy was still in diapers. I'm going to concerts for bands that have been doing albums.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool though. I
Yeah.
think I saw live once at County Fair.
Live being also one of the bands in my top five. So it's pretty much just Pearl Jam, Weird Al, Ben Folds, Collective Soul, Live. So yeah, those five. And then I've never seen live.
All right. Is that another one
That's
that's going to be
surprising.
is
Yeah,
that
it
another one
is.
that's going to
Shocked
be
by
at
that.
Alpine?
No, it's going to be Summerfest. Well, I mean, it's not at Summerfest. It's at Summerfest grounds, whatever they call that amphitheater.
Who else
Who-
is in that?
It's Stone Temple Pilots is the headliner, but live. I mean, I think they're going to be split in time because they're both celebrating such a big anniversary, and then Soul Asylum is opening up for both of them.
Damn, that's an awesome show.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that tour, I was like, I have to go. So I think it's like an early Christmas present. So like, I'm not getting much for Christmas this year because like I got tickets to a concert. I got this new chair.
Ooh,
Is anyone going to be at the Walworth County Fair?
I
Do
think
we?
Nellie's gonna be.
Did I
Remember
hear
him?
them refer to Nelly as country music superstar?
Hey. Did he's like totally like rebrand?
I, I swear I heard a commercial for one of the fairs, and then I thought I heard them say Nelly country music superstar, and I'm like, nah, it had to be somebody else. There's no way they referred to Nelly as that.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of the lineup of the Walworth County. I saw the Oak Ridge Boys there when I was little.
I mean, you could probably still see them there now, but I mean, they're not going to be the same Oak Ridge Boys.
Because that's coming up at the end of the month, I believe.
Yeah, I can't believe we're already there.
The 175th Walworth County Fair. But I want to just see the event grandstand. I don't want to download anything. Just show me the.
Because
Yes.
I'm assuming they're still going to have their demo derby and their tractor pulls. I just didn't know who they had performing this year.
Okay, so Nelly will be there. He's the first night. Brantley Gilbert. I don't know who that is. Looks like David Crowder, Christian music guy. And it looks like just those three guys.
Wow. Weak ass shit right there.
Yeah.
Um, but if you want to see Nelly, who I'm almost positive they referred to as country music superstar,
I think I'll pass.
I assume Brantley Gilbert, because I've never heard of him, must be some also country music person.
Maybe he's the country music star. Maybe they said Nelly and country music
Mm.
star.
Maybe that's what they said, because that makes more sense than referring to Nelly as country music superstar. Because I mean, I know he did that one song with Florida Georgia Line, but
Yeah. Besides doing Cheerio commercials, I don't know what he's been doing lately.
well,
Well, apparently performing at county fairs.
the Walworth County Fair, not even the Wisconsin State Fair.
Yeah.
Not denigrating the Walworth County Fair. I think I've been to that one as much, if not more, than I've been to the state fair. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, if that's what you're headlining, your career is probably not at the top of your game anymore.
Right. But, at least he's still getting work.
Maybe he'd want to come on the show
I
while he's
will.
in town.
I will see. I will try to. I'll try to remember to message him, and I'll see. Um,
Hopefully he doesn't listen to what we just said, though. We didn't mean that. It's great that you're headlining Walworth County
Yeah.
Fair. It's an honor.
Wisconsin
We'd
will
kill to do that.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm saying any county fair that's like, hey, we want to have a podcast booth, and you guys are going to be it. Like, sign us up. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, put us in a hotel for 2, 3 days. We'll go there. Even one day, we'll do it for a day.
We live
I mean,
like 10 minutes away at the fairgrounds.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
if
he
it's
said
Walworth,
he said any county.
Oh, any
okay.
county. Okay.
All right, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that only Wisconsin would want us, but like if Hawaii was it, hey, yeah, put us up in a hotel, we'll come do it.
Yeah. You don't even have to, you just pay for the flight and the hotel. You don't have to pay us to appear. We'll just appear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we should probably hold off on saying that in case people actually do want to pay us. But I mean, for Hawaii, yeah,
Yeah, Hawaii.
free flight, we'll do it for free. Yeah, I mean, Illinois, yeah, you're gonna have to pay us.
Yeah, double.
All right. Anybody watch anything?
I watched a couple of random episodes of random shows that I can't remember while I was down there. And then I also watched a Gene Wilder documentary on Netflix recently. I think it was called Remembering Gene Wilder. And it kind of talks about his start in acting to his death. So they talk about how he broke out and is doing his little plays, performances, whatever you want to call them, in Milwaukee, to getting his first movie role, to meeting Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor and all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah. If you like Gene Wilder and documentaries,
I do.
not a bad watch.
On Netflix, you say?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll have to add it to the list.
What you got, Jeremy?
Didn't really watch a lot. I watched EA destroy the Madden franchise again for another year with Madden 25.
Oh, great. We're about to have Jeremy kidnapped again.
It's a slight improvement, but it really is not that big of a difference from last year. Especially like having played college football, like they did a great job with that game. I don't know if you guys have played the new college football game yet.
Not yet.
Okay. It's like it just feels so good. Like the physics, like everything, at the game speed, like it just feels good. Like the passing, even like the ball just goes exactly where you want it. And then you go and play Madden. It's like last year's Madden again with the same, like with like a new paint, and like the tackling is a little different. So now there's like people kind of like there's more like they bounce off. There's more like it's more of like it's affected by speed and impact. But I was watching a video about this actually on YouTube, and they're like, it's cool that they did this, but what people are forgetting is that they actually did have this as a physics engine, like years and years and years ago. So like what they're just it seems they're like what they're doing is just recycling shit and pretending that it's like new so that they don't have to do anything. Because I was kind of I forgot that they had stuff like that in the past. And it felt new to me, but I don't really like it because like every running back just now, like again, I'm taking this from the video. Every running back feels like you're Marshawn Lynch, like you're just bouncing constantly. And I don't know. There's some cool stuff though. Like I'll give them credit. Like there's definitely things you could see they improved upon, but like it's never enough to justify the 60 that I'm about to spend tonight. Now that my trial is over.
It comes out tonight.
It's been out for like since like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Do you think there might be a decline in Madden sales this year with NCAA? Because I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, I want college football," because Madden's always the same, and then college football came out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Would they be like, "I'm good with this game. I don't need to buy this game again."
Well,
I hope so.
And honestly, that might be the best thing for Madden because they need a kick in the balls to get back to innovating and putting out a good product. Because this is what I've heard for years out of both of you. The game just isn't. But yet every year, both of you still buy it.
Yeah,
I usually buy it every other year.
That's the problem though with the exclusivity. I mean, it's like if you're a fan of the game, it's like what you feel like you're held at like gunpoint because like if you want to play a football game, I mean, sure you could always go and like play the one from last year, but it's like their roster updates don't really keep going. I mean, the user created stuff is pretty cool, but it's like you want the shiny new thing.
I still hold that they shouldn't they should only do a new Madden every 5 years, and then every 4 years in between, like $10-15, you buy the DLC. You get the new rosters, the ability to download the new rosters during the season, new jerseys. If there's a new stadium or new logos, any rule changes, like and then that way they can spend 5 years actually working on a new game, innovating it, making it better, fixing the physics and the graphics, and then not just keep pumping out the same game every year. Because
100%.
There's no reason to innovate if you're going to sell it for $60-$75, and people are just going to keep buying it.
Right.
Did you hear they're making a Madden movie?
I'm not shocked, but how are they doing it?
I didn't read the details, but they're supposed to be making a John Madden. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a bio kind of pic of him with Nicolas Cage playing John Madden.
Well, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
neither of you have heard this.
No. I mean, now if they're making a biopic about John Madden, with or without Nick Cage, I'm probably interested in doing that. I thought you said they were going to be making a movie out of the video game, and I was just like, how?
That's what I thought you meant at first too.
Let's see here.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage will play NFL legend John Madden in a biopic. That was 2 days ago. That was 3 days ago. It was announced. Variety, People, Hollywood Reporter. Yeah.
Totally in. Granted, that might be my pro Nick Cage bias, and I'm willing to watch anything with him in it. So
when I saw that, I was like, that is an interesting choice. But Sam, I'm like, I will watch it.
Now, being who Nick Cage is, does he just gain a lot of weight, or does he put a suit on?
I would say suit. I could see him wanting to gain the weight, but they're at this point probably like, you're not in your 20s anymore, guy.
Yeah. The only thing I watched, I watched a bunch of stuff, but the thing that I want to talk about, I watched. Have either of you had a chance to peruse Kite Man? Hell yeah.
No.
It's a spinoff of the animated Harley Quinn, the one that Kaylee Cuoco does.
Mm-hmm.
So Kite Man broke up with Poison Ivy. He's now with Golden Glider, and like they bought a bar, and like all of the really, really low rent villains are hanging out, and like it's every bit as ridiculous as Harley Quinn.
Nice.
But it is I I love it. It's hilarious. I mean, it's dumb, but I mean, it's dumb in the way that Harley Quinn is dumb. And a lot of the same people are doing like, for some reason, there's a couple of the people who are doing different voices, but like, I think, Lex Luthor was a different voice, but like, Kite Man's the same, Bane is the same. So yeah, I mean, if you dig the animated Harley Quinn, like, I think you'll like the name of the show should clue you in onto what it is. It's Kite Man. Hell yeah.
I remember hearing about that and being like, why of all characters Kite Man? But even watching the Harley Quinn series, it's like, all right, I get it. I get why people like Kite Man.
I mean, if you were to tell me you were going to try to do like a serious big budget Kite Man movie, I'd be like, you're stupid. But an animated show on Max, it's low risk, high reward.
Right.
Especially since you've already established him as a silly character on a really popular animated, show. So you've got the audience already. So
that's fair. I don't think I finished the Harley Quinn series. I don't know if that really matters.
It's not over. They're just, I think they're, because I think there's going to be other seasons.
Jeremy, have you watched that one?
Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
I didn't make it super far. I think I finished the first season for sure.
Same. I might have finished the second one. That's why I was like, I don't know. I was going to ask where I was.
I think they're up through 3 seasons on Harley Quinn. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's dirty. It's not at all related to the movies,
right?
But it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's so. But I mean, I'm not shocked that somehow you watched some episodes and you didn't finish it. It's not
Jeremy.
It's not you. It's not Monk or Sykes. So everything else is just
a couple episodes here and there. Because I think it was one of the weddings, because who wasn't one of them getting married?
Well, Poison Ivy
was getting married to Kite Man,
right? And then they broke up, and then
the season ended with her and Harley leaving.
Yeah, her and Harley running off and eloping, and then I think there's been 1 season since.
So I saw that. So I'm only 1 season back.
Okay, yeah,
which for me isn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a half hour animated show, and I'm not even sure they do double-digit episodes a season, right? Or like if it 8. Is, yeah, it's 8 to 10. It's not much, so it's pretty easy to watch it real quick.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jeremy, you got anything you want to promote, talk about?
Not too much. Just go check out the channel as usual. We got some Halloween stuff we're working on. People should get excited about.
Yeah,
Halloween.
I'm actively working on that stuff. So, Justin, you don't ever have anything to promote. Why am I asking you? All right. Anybody got any parting thoughts?
If you tell someone that we're gonna have a bracket, follow through.
Always save your work.
Yeah.
So
always save your work, kids.
So here's the thing. If you put a bracket together and you do all the work, remember to hit save so you don't have to say stupid never walks alone.
No, you walk with us.
Comic books have been around for almost a century, and in the last 2 decades, we've finally gotten to see many of these characters brought to life in movies and on TV. On the Moving Panels podcast, we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. Join me and my guests as we discuss both the good and the bad from Marvel, DC, and even some of the lesser-known comic book companies. Learn what is and isn't from the comics, as well as our nerdy review of the movie or show. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. So join us for Moving Panels, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to an 80s Flick Flashback podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-host to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.